Yes.
Could you please do so?
Yes, ma'am. It's 1G6KB54Y2YU193799.
And does that refresh your recollection as to the vehicle identification number of the vehicle in question?
Yes.
Specifically the Cadillac DeVille?
Yes.
And if I may also ask you, do you have a copy of your search warrant with you?
Yes, I do.
Do you have just personal recollection of what the VIN number was for the search warrant that was obtained?
Yes.
You know it off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. I've reviewed the search warrant and compared the two.
Okay. And did those compare exactly or not?
They are identical, the search warrant and the plate.
And just for the record, will you actually read the one off the search warrant, please, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
The VIN on the search warrant is listed as 1G6KB54Y2YU193799.
Thank you, Agent Foster. And with respect to State's Exhibit number 82, can you tell us what that is a picture of?
Yes, ma'am. This is a daylight photograph. This is a photograph that was taken on Little Oak Road before the vehicle was moved. And this is the condition with the open trunk and the contents of the trunk still in place.
And just to be clear, this was taken before or after you actually did a thorough search of the vehicle?
This is before. No search of the interior of the vehicle, with the exception of the collection of the duct tape, which would have been here in the photograph. Nothing else had been gone through, so this accurately shows the condition of the vehicle when I arrived.
And having now seen this particular picture, does that refresh your recollection as to whether that interior door, the little door right here in the middle, was or was not open when you began your search?
Yes, ma'am. This does refresh my memory that the door was open upon my arrival, so the pass-through door between the trunk and the passenger compartment was in an open position.
Thank you. And Agent Foster, subsequent to having taken the photographs of the vehicle there at the regional office at the GBI, did you actually physically collect each of the items that we've been speaking of?
Yes.
And if I may, keep the light turned back on, please. First of all, I'm going to ask the bailiff to show you what has previously been marked as State's Exhibit number 83. She has an opportunity to show that to me You had a chance to look at that?
Yes.
And can you tell me, Agent Foster, what that is?
This is the packaging that I packaged a black mid cap that came from the rear seat of the Cadillac. This is the package that was put into, filled out by me. It is currently in a sealed condition.
And can I get you please to open that so that you can confirm whether it is or is not the item that it purports to be?
Yes, ma'am.
changed in any way since you put it in there?
There is also in the bag are tape lifts that were done subsequent to my collection of this, so it has been processed by crime lab personnel. Other than that, it's subsequent, or it's consistent with the condition that it was found in the vehicle.
So is it in either the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it for evidence?
Yes.
And are you the person who collected that item there at the GBI regional headquarters and put it in that bag?
Yes.
And did you take that bag and mark it as you previously described in part?
Yes.
And did you place that bag, having marked it into the evidence room or evidence facility at the GBI?
Yes.
In Regional 11, I should say?
Yes.
Your Honor, we would move to tender state number 83.
Well, can I see what's in there? I mean, I didn't get to see that. What's in there? Did I catch it? Let me see. Yeah. Yes, you might.
And if I could, I want to make sure that we're finished with that. If I could have the bailiff show Mr. Hood and then the agent what has previously been marked as state exhibit number 84.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us if you recognize that item, meaning initially the container?
Yes, ma'am. The container is a bag a brown paper evidence bag that was filled out by me. This is the second black knit cap that was in the back seat of the vehicle.
And can you just tell us briefly, when you do fill out these bags, tell the jury briefly what types of things you document on those bags?
Yes, ma'am. The bags are filled out with the same information that would be on the chain of custody, which would include our case number, which would actually be the Athens office's case number, the date that the search was executed and the item was collected, the time I put on the bag, but I always use the time that the search of the vehicle, house, whatever I'm searching, whatever time that begins. So we started searching the vehicle at 8:45 p.m. and that's what's noted on the bag itself. It also has the number of the property receipt or chain of custody form, what item it is as it's listed on that form. It has a location where this is collected from, what is in the bag, and then it's collected with my signature and that I'm with the GBI and my badge number. And that's the information that I put on every item of evidence.
Yes, sir. And are you able to open that and see if you in fact recognize the item inside there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And do you in fact recognize that item or not?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
This is the second black knit cap that was collected from the back seat of the vehicle.
And is it in either the same or substantially the same condition as it was when you collected it on March 22nd,
Yes.
2011?
It is.
And did you place that item in that evidence bag?
Yes.
And did you document the things you told us on the evidence bag?
Yes.
And did you place that into the evidence room over at the regional office of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Your Honor, we would move to tender state number 84. Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask that be allowed to pass to the bailiff, and then subsequently to Mr. Hood and Agent Foster. What's been marked as State's Exhibit number 85.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recognize that container?
I do.
And can you tell us, are you the person who filled out the writing on the outer portion of that container?
Yes, I am.
And what does the container purport to be?
This is a container that contains the black and color access jacket, size 2XL, that was located in the left rear floorboard of the Cadillac.
Could you please open that? Make sure it is what it
Yes, ma'am.
purports to be.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that?
This is the double XL access jacket, the black jacket that was located in the left rear floorboard of the car, of the Cadillac.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, Agent Foster, has that item been altered in any way?
Yes. No, it has not been altered. In fact, the bag, since I sealed it on March 22nd, has not been opened by anyone else.
Is it in the substantially same or same condition as the date that you collected it?
Yes.
And did you place that item in that bag and fill that bag out on that
Yes,
date?
I did.
Place that into evidence?
Yes.
And Your Honor, we would move to tender item number 85.
No, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I just look at it.
And Your Honor, if I could hand to the bailiff and then Mr. Hood and the agent what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 86, please.
We'll look at number 86.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize the item that has been marked as State's Exhibit number 86?
Yes, ma'am.
And what does the outer portion of that appear to you to be?
This is the evidence bag that I placed in a roll of silver and colored duct tape that was located in the right front floorboard of the Cadillac. This is the container with the evidence seal and my initials on that.
And did you collect that on March 22nd, 2011?
Yes.
And tell us just one more time, from where did you collect it?
This was in the right front floorboard of the Cadillac DeVille, which is the same location as the book bag that contained the zip ties and the .380 caliber handgun.
Just one moment, Your Honor, I'm sorry. And is it in the same condition or substantially the same condition as when you collected it? If you need to open the bag to confirm that, that's fine.
It does indicate on the bag that it's been opened since I collected it by crime lab personnel. recollection.
And are you the one who placed that item into that bag on March 22nd, 2011,
Yes.
and filled out that bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you the one who placed the item into evidence?
I am.
Can you visibly observe any alterations from any crime lab processing?
No, the only change on there is that the crime lab personnel have written identifying information on the inside edge of the cardboard roll. Other than that, it's substantially the same. There's also a small sticker that they placed on the roll.
All right. Can we move to Tender States 86?
Okay. So I just wanted to look at and see what, I want to check this on the bag.
And Your Honor, I would ask that I'll be allowed to publish this briefly to the jury. May I stand at least in front of the podium without moving about? Would that be acceptable to the court? Thank you, Your Honor. And Agent Foster, I'm also going to show you what has been previously marked as State Exhibit number 87.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize that item?
I actually do not. This is not my package.
I understand. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had the occasion to process items and place them into similar containers such as that?
Yes.
What types of items have you processed in your career and placed them into items such as that? Meaning, tell us for the record what that is.
Yes, ma'am. This is specifically a pizza box. It's just a small, thin, square box. I've used pizza boxes. I've also used empty bulletproof vest boxes to collect evidence that needs to go with something like this. And normally what that would be is something adhesive. We use an item that wasn't used in this case called a gel lifter, where one side is sticky, and it can be packaged in a box like this and secured to one side so that it's safe. The same thing can be done with tape. Duct tape would be a particular item that would be packaged in a box like this just to keep it in place.
And did you in fact collect, and when we say tape, do you mean tape on a roll or not on a roll?
Not on a roll.
And did you in fact collect some tape that was not on a roll in connection with the case about which we've been speaking today?
Yes.
And if you were to be allowed to open that box, would you be able to tell us whether in fact it is the same tape or not?
It depends. Because of the nature of tape, I would not have written anything on the tape itself and would have to go by my memory, the photographs, and the chain of custody to be able to say that. And the only way to do that would be to look at it, but because it doesn't have a serial number or my initials or something like that, that would be what I'd have to rely on.
I understand. And let me ask you this, have you opened and looked in that box prior to coming in here today?
No, I have not.
And are you able to see the seals on the outside of the box?
Yes.
What types of seals are on the outside of the box? Please describe those for us.
On the sides of the box are two, they're called tamper evident tape. It basically lists that this is evidence, they're red in color, and the purpose of those is to show if the box is opened after it's been sealed. So the tamper evident tape is on the two sides. Those are dated 4/22/11, and there's a set of initials that are on there. In addition to that are 4 or actually 5 blue in color of that tamper evident tape is placed on the box also. That's dated April 18th of 2014. This apparently has been done more than once. There's one that has April 19th of 2011, One has 4/18 of 14. Okay, so of the 5 blue tape, 3 are April 18th of 2014, and 2 are marked as April 19th of 2011, but those are tamper-evident tape that's placed on the box, showing that it's been opened at one stage, resecured, and then the person who had opened it for whatever purpose seals it back up with that evidence tape. They date it and they initial it, and those are in place there.
And does the fact that some of the tape is blue versus red have any significance to you or not?
The red tape is normally what we use in the field, but the only identifier on it is the word evidence. The blue tape itself is actually labeled as GBI Headquarters Crime Lab Trace Evidence Section with the GBI seal, so that more accurately shows what section was actually working with this tape and sealing it.
And before we go any further, is there any other indicator on there that would help refresh your recollection or help you determine whether this is in fact the tape that you collected before opening the box?
It goes back to the chain of custody. The chain of custody will show that this item was filled, there was a chain of custody filled out for the duct tape. When it was turned into the crime lab, they assign it a separate number that is associated with that chain of custody. And through those 2 items, I would be able to say that, this was collected by me, turned into the lab, and then this is the same one that was returned back from the lab and is substantially the same. But that's how I would have to do that.
I understand. And first of all, do you have a copy of your chain of custody sheet with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you were to be able then to open the box, would you be able to make that determination?
Should be able to, yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, we ask at this point in time that he be allowed to review the contents of the interior of the box. Of course, then allow Mr. Flynn to see that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
Right. Have you been able to review whatever items you needed to review?
Yes.
And first of all, can you just tell us for the record so that is clear, what was it that you needed to review to make that determination, please, Agent Foster?
Contained inside the box with the evidence is the original plastic evidence bag that I was using. This is the evidence bag that I filled out the information the duct tape was originally placed into, so that's included with the evidence in the box, and that does help me refresh my memory as to the duct tape.
And is that your handwriting on that bag that's within the box?
Yes.
And does it have the case number that pertains to this case?
Yes, it does.
And other pertinent information that pertains to this case?
Yes.
And having looked at that, are you able to tell us whether this is or is not the evidence that you collected on that day, specifically a piece of tape?
Yes.
And is that tape on a roll or not on a roll?
It is not on the roll.
I thought you weren't finished, I'm
Well,
sorry.
It's consistent, other than having been processed, it's consistent with the duct tape that I collected that day.
And can you explain to us just very briefly what you mean other than having been processed?
Yes, ma'am. The duct tape that was recovered from the trunk of the car basically was in strips but was overlapped and stuck together. And during processing, the duct tape is removed into individual strips. And that's done so that it can be fingerprinted, it can be search for any kind of trace evidence that may be on there. So other than those being separated, it is consistent, and with my evidence back in there, I can say reasonably that that is the same duct tape that I collected that day.
Right. And Your Honor, first of all, is it the same or substantially same condition as when you collected that day, but for the exception you told us about the processing?
Yes.
And are you the one who placed that duct tape originally in that plastic bag that is within the pizza box?
Yes, I am.
And did you fill out that those indicators on the outside of that bag?
Yes, I did.
Did you place that into evidence at the GBI headquarters here in Athens, Clark County?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And Your Honor, at this time we would move to tender State's Exhibit number 86.
You want to see that first? Yes, sir. On the objection. No, sir, you submitted.
And Your Honor, we would ask before placing that with Ms. Evans that Agent Foster be allowed to publish that to the jury.
You're ready to step down.
Yes, sir.
Pass the jury here, please. While he's doing that, I've got somebody out there that's going to replace this machine. Is there a man out there with a machine there? You asked him to come in, and he told me 3 to 5 minutes. Less time.
And Judge, once Agent Foster finishes, do you want me to wait till we complete this before going forward? Yes, sir, I will.
He came a long way to do this. So I'm going to hold it.
I understand, Your Honor.
And I told him he promised 3 minutes. This way, would you just let him have that down there just as a test? Please. Then I'll hold that back. It should be. That's what I've got it on all the platforms. On both. The only button I know. You're welcome to come and see it. Well, this is laptop.
Yes. Provide a document camera at this table. You're using the laptop connection for both the document camera and the laptop, providing switching between the two at the table.
Okay, I tried that earlier, but go ahead. I tried that button earlier with the other unit.
Now it's the same to all.
I'll go ahead and ask, was it me or was it that other unit? Okay.
Got any more questions for
very much, Your Honor.
More than 3 minutes. I appreciate it.
Yeah, please, have a good day.
All right. Let me turn this on. Make it in.
And Agent Foster, I know you mentioned that there had been some processing of that tape. Could you just tell us as precisely as you can, in what manner did the tape appear different prior to the processing, please?
Yes, ma'am. Just simply that the individual strips were removed from their overlap, so that instead of having several that are stuck together along the edges, making it a big wide piece of tape, they were actually removed into several individual sections of duct tape, which is how they come from the roll of approximately 1.5 inches or 2 inches wide.
And when we have previously looked at pictures here today of the items that were in the trunk of the car, is the tape that you're sitting there with the pizza box in today, is that or is it not the same tape that we saw in the trunk of the car?
It is the same, yes.
I'm going to ask that we hand to Mr. Hood for examination and then, of course, to Agent Foster, State Exhibit Number 87. That's actually Exhibit Number 88. I will correct that momentarily if I could, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Again, this is a package that's not my original package.
I understand. May I have that back just for 1 moment to correct the number on it, and I apologize for my error. And Judge, just for the record, I did change the 7 into an 8 on 87 into 88. We're showing Mr. Hood that. And Agent Foster, without going through the entire series of questions that we just discussed pertaining to the tape, is there a means by which you could make a determination as to whether the item contained in State Exhibit Number 88 is in fact something that you did or did not collect?
Yes.
Would you need to open the bag to do that?
Yes, I would.
Would you need to do the things that you just discussed with us a few moments ago pertaining to the tape and the pizza box?
Yes.
And would that help you make that determination?
Yes, it would.
And Your Honor, we'd ask that he be allowed to do that at this point in time, and then we'll report what it was he did.
Yes, ma'am.
When you say yes, are you saying yes, you're ready to proceed?
I am.
Okay, thank you. And what is it that you have reviewed at this point in time, Agent Foster?
Yes, ma'am. After opening the packaging that was not my package, I found that inside of that package was what I used to collect cartridge casings, bullets, and other small items of evidence. But this is the same container that I used on March 22nd of 2011 to collect this CCI 40 caliber cartridge casing. It has my handwriting on it. It was sealed with red evidence tape and initialed and dated by me.
And where was it, just to refresh our recollection, that you collected that casing from?
This casing was collected from the seatbelt mechanism directly next to the right rear passenger seat of the Cadillac.
And are you able to see, let me back up. Can you tell from the view that you have of that item now whether it is or is not in the same condition or substantially the same condition as the date that you collected it?
Yes, it is.
And are you the one who collected that item on the date in question?
Yes.
And did you place it into, if not the bag that it was in today, the internal container that you've described for us?
Yes.
And can you just tell us for the record what that internal container is, please, sir?
Yes, basically it is made for the collection of bullets, cartridge casings, and items like that. It's just a small cardboard container. It contains polyfill just to keep the item from moving around or getting damaged while it's in the packaging. Once the lid is placed on it, it has a section on the top of the box for case identifying information, case number, what's in the box, things of that nature. And then I wrap my cartridge boxes with the red evidence tape, and then on the bottom of the tape, it's initialed by me, in this particular case, in 2 separate locations. So this is definitely the box that I collected this in that day.
And are you able to tell, one way or the other, from looking at the other packaging, whether this item has been processed in some way subsequent to your having collected it?
Yes, it does appear that it has.
I'm not going to ask you about the results of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. And you said that item is in substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it is.
And then you placed it in that box that you've spoken about?
Yes.
And then did you place that in the evidence cage or facility at the GBI regional headquarters here in Athens?
Yes, I did.
And Your Honor, we've moved to tender item 88.
Objection. No, sir, Your Honor. I didn't like to see it, but I tested. Put it up in the box.
And I would ask, Your Honor, that Agent Foster be allowed to publish that briefly to the jury, please. Yes, please. Thank you. And Agent Foster, I actually need to show you one other matter with respect to the photograph that you took on that date of that vehicle. If I could get you to look again at what was previously marked as State Exhibit number 81, please, sir.
Let's see. Are you using your Elmer?
Yes, sir. And are you able to see that now, Agent Foster?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell whether that's the VIN number that we talked about earlier?
Yes, it is.
And I'm going to ask you, I know you read aloud earlier pertaining to a search warrant, but could I ask you to read that into the record one other time for purposes of comparing it to one other item, please, sir?
Yes, the one on the screen is 1G6KD54Y2YU193799.
And I'm going to show you what has previously been marked as State's Exhibit number 63. Are you able to see that well enough from your location to read the VIN off of that item or not?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay.
That one is 1G6KD54Y2YU193799.
Thank you. And so are those not in fact the same VIN number?
No, ma'am, they're different in that the actual VIN uses the number, actually, let me correct myself there. Could I see that one more time?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am, those are
Would
the
you rather
same.
look at it in person? Would that help?
It would.
Your vision is better than mine if you can read that.
There's an issue with the Z or the 2, and that's... Yes, ma'am, that one is Y2Y, so that is accurate with the search warrant.
All right, and just to clarify, first of all, is the number that's in this paperwork the same as the number on the VIN in the car?
Yes,
And is the number that are both on the paperwork and the VIN number physically located in the car both the same as the number on the search warrant?
yes, they are.
Thank you. And Agent Foster, in addition to having searched and reported the search of that 2000 Cadillac DeVille and collected some evidence from there on that day, did you have the occasion or opportunity to search any other vehicles?
On that particular day, we did search the Chevrolet Caprice that was at that location. There were subsequent searches the following day of a Chevrolet Suburban and the two police cars that were involved in the shooting. And I believe that's all the vehicles that I was involved with.
All right. And specifically, did you on March 22nd, 2011, have the occasion to search a Chevrolet Caprice that belonged to an individual by the name of Judon Brooks?
Yes, I did.
And where was it that that search was conducted?
That was at the GBI office in Athens. It was actually in the garage bay at that office.
And do you know where it was that car was originally located?
Yes, ma'am. It was my understanding that that vehicle was located at the opposite end of Little Oak Road from where the Cadillac was. Again, as I testified earlier, there's a slight ridge in the roadway, and one side is not visible from the other side. So while at that location, I actually never saw the Caprice, and it was only after it got to the regional office in Athens that I laid eyes on it and actually began to work.
And do you have any knowledge as to how it was transported from the Little Oak location over to the GBI office?
Yes, ma'am. It was my request that it be transported, and arrangements were made by someone other than myself to have a tow truck come. I believe that it was towed from that location up to the regional office, but it wasn't by me, and I don't have any specific knowledge of who did that.
Let me ask you, Agent Foster, first of all, just to be clear, did you seize any evidence from that Chevy Caprice?
The Chevy was processed for latent fingerprints, and there were fingerprints that were collected from the Caprice. If I can refer to my notes a little further.
Certainly.
There was a set of keys in the Caprice that was collected. There was a white colored T-shirt.
And I did not mean to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. I just meant like yes or no. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. And I got ahead of myself. I apologize. Did you, at the time that you searched the Chevy Caprice, did you or did you not have a search warrant to search that?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And do you know to whom that vehicle belonged?
Yes, ma'am. To my knowledge, that was the vehicle of Judon Brooks.
And do you know, in the context of the situation that we've been discussing today, who Mr. Brooks was?
Yes, ma'am. That he was a victim in the investigation, and that's why we searched that vehicle.
Yes, sir. And once you got that car over to the GBI regional headquarters, did you document your search of that vehicle in some manner?
Yes, I did.
And do you know who, if anyone, was with you when you did that?
Agent Lavender was with me during that search also.
And do you know whether anyone, law enforcement-wise, was with the tow truck as that vehicle was brought from Little Oak over to the GBI regional headquarters?
No, ma'am, I don't recall.
I would like to show Agent Foster State's Exhibits number 89, 90, and 91.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've had an opportunity to review those photographs?
Yes.
Excuse me, Agent Foster, I'm sorry. And are you the person who took those photographs?
Yes, I am.
And do they truly and accurately portray what you saw on March 22nd, 2011?
Yes, they do.
Have they been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, we would move to tender states 89, 90, and 91.
Objection. No, sir, Your Honor.
And Agent Foster, before I asked you about some of those pictures, you said that this vehicle belonged to a Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
And if the car belonged to the victim, can you tell us why it was on this particular occasion that you were processing that vehicle?
I don't recall whether or not we specifically had a consent from him or not. That's a possibility, but as the victim of a crime, he is basically not the person under investigation. We're not looking for evidence that may be in that vehicle that relate to him being a criminal under our investigation. And so the purpose of this is not, he is a target that we suspect has committed a crime, and that's why we are looking for evidence against him for that crime in his vehicle. We are simply looking for evidence that relates to the crime in which he's the victim of.
Thank you. And if I may show you, I'm sorry, if I may show you State's Exhibit number 89 and just ask you to tell us briefly what that's.
Yes, ma'am. This is a photograph of the Chevrolet Caprice as it was in the evidence bay at the GBI office here in Athens, and this is just an overall photograph taken from the front of the vehicle of the car.
And what about State's Exhibit number 90?
State's 90 is the same vehicle in the same location. This is just to give a perspective down the driver's side of the vehicle.
And State's 91?
State's 91 is a photograph from the rear of the vehicle to show that from that perspective and to show the identifier as the license plate on the vehicle.
And if I may give to the bailiff, and pass along to Mr. Hood and the agent, States 93, 94, and 95, please.
Surrender skip 92.
I did, Your Honor. My vision is poor. States 93, 92, 93, and 94. And just for the record, on 93 and 94, I have corrected my subsequent numeration. And have you had an opportunity to view those, Agent Foster?
Yes, I have.
And are you the person who took those photographs?
I am.
Do they truly and accurately reflect what you saw on that day?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
Have they been altered in any way?
No, they haven't.
And Your Honor, we moved to tender States 92, 93, and 94.
Objection. No, sir, Your Honor. Just noted.
And just briefly, Agent Foster, can you tell us what States 92 is?
This is a close-up photograph of the license plate that was on the Chevy Caprice that night.
And what about States 93?
This is a photograph from the right rear side. This is to give a perspective down the passenger side of the vehicle.
And States 94, if you're able to see that. If not, let me know and we can pass it to you.
Yes, ma'am. It is a photograph of the VIN plate that's on the Caprice, although the numbers are difficult to read in the photograph.
And why is it that you're documenting the VIN number of this particular vehicle, Agent Foster?
Just as an identifier. Anytime that we process a vehicle, just like we did with the Cadillac, we want to make sure that we photograph and document the VIN number, the license plate number, just so we know exactly what we're dealing with. We've got a way to refer back to in the future if we need to.
Thank you. And I may hand the bailiff States 95, 96, 97, and 98, please.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you the person who took those photographs?
I am.
Have they been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
do they truly and accurately reflect what you saw on the date in question?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, we move to tender states 95, 96, 97, and 98, please.
And you objection. Don't say y'all.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Agent Foster, if you could tell us, please, what, as I place it on the projector, what does State's Exhibit number 95 show?
Yes, ma'am. If you could turn it one turn, there we go.
Thank you.
I believe that's right. This one is a photograph of a set of keys with a blue keychain that was located in the center of the front seat of the Chevy Caprice.
And what about State's number 96?
States 96 is a photograph, is an overall photograph of that same location showing the front seats and the location of that set of keys.
Could you please describe for us what is reflected in States 97?
Yes, ma'am. There was a T-shirt that was located on the right rear floorboard of the car, and this photograph is of that T-shirt as it was found.
Thank you. And what about States 98, please?
The T-shirt had a stain of some kind on it. This is a photograph displaying that stain, and that's primarily what this photograph is for.
And if I may give to the bailiff, pass to Mr. Hood and then the agent for review, States 99, 100, 101, and 102, please.
Yes, ma'am.
And the opportunity to review those, Agent Foster?
Yes.
Did you take those photographs?
I did.
Have they been altered?
No.
Did they accurately reflect what you saw on March 22nd, 2011?
Yes, they did.
In your honor, we move to tender States 99, 100, 101, 102.
Any objection? Don't say y'all.
And Agent Foster, with respect to States Exhibit number 99, can you tell us what that is, please, sir?
Yes, ma'am. This is just the tag in the collar of that white and color T-shirt showing that it's a Lux T and size 5X.
Thank you. And what is shown in States number 100?
Yes, ma'am. In the vehicle was a plastic, like a shopping bag. This is a photograph of that bag.
And did y'all at some point in time open that bag?
Yes, we did.
And can you tell me what is reflected in States Exhibit number 100?
Yes, ma'am. There were several small, appeared to be felt discs that were located in that bag, and I don't specifically recall if they were, felt or if they were another material, but they were small colored discs that were in that bag. They didn't appear to be remarkable as far as anything that we were conducting an investigation on, so they were photographed, but they weren't collected.
Yes, sir. And what is depicted in States Exhibit number 102?
Yes, ma'am. This is an invoice from University Tire for work done on that Chevy Caprice and showing a date and I believe a date and a time that work was done. This is just to show, I guess, more of a identifier for the vehicle than anything else.
Is it typically your practice when you search a vehicle, if you find paperwork of some sort, to document that?
Yes, ma'am. Things like insurance cards and things of that nature.
Yes, sir. And if I may hand to the bailiff, 103, 104, and 105, those States Exhibits.
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had an opportunity to review those?
Yes.
Did you take those photographs?
Yes, I did.
Did they truly and accurately portray what you saw on that day?
Yes, I
Have
did.
they been altered in any way?
No, that's not.
We moved to tender states 103, 104, and 105.
No, sir, young.
And Agent Foster, if I could ask you with respect to State's Exhibit number 103, what does that show us, please?
This is the location under the, I believe it's the front right passenger seat. That's the location that University Tire receipt was located before we pulled it out and examined it.
And with respect to State's 104, can you tell us what that is, please?
Yes, ma'am. In the glove box of the car was a black nylon holster, and that's a photograph of. It was an empty holster. It didn't have a firearm or any ammunition in it. It was just an empty holster.
And what about State's number 105?
States 105 is the insurance card for that Chevy Caprice with the name and address information of the person who is insured. That's what, again, the purpose of that is for an identifier.
And just for the record, can you please tell us at least what this purports to list as the owner?
Yes, Jadon Brooks,
And can you tell us what it purports to be, what type of vehicle?
a 1975 Chevrolet Caprice.
If I may have just one moment, Your Honor. I don't have any other questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Turn the lights up now. We're shooting across the room.
No, I want to talk about times. They're almost live. If you want to go,
Well, I don't mind. Do you have an estimate of how long this cross-examination will take? Just asking. If you have one.
they just want to, they just presented a lot. And I don't think it's going to be real quick. I've been trying to get them out so we can speed stuff up, but I don't think I'm going to be as fast as I've been today.
Let's get started. Okay, we'll see.
Afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
All our circumstances, appreciate you being here. How did you get involved in this case, sir?
Yes, sir. On that date, on March 22nd, 2011, my supervisor, who was Mike Ayers, contacted me and asked me to respond to Athens to help with the investigation.
You stated, what time did you arrive on the scene of Cadillac?
About 4:40 p.m.
Who was present on the scene when you arrived on the scene of Cadillac?
I recall that Special Agent Lavender was present. There was a Athens Clark County police car there with a police officer. I don't have his name, but that he was present. There were several police officers, detectives, and agents who came to the scene at various times and then left. But as far as anybody at the car itself, myself and Agent Lavender, the two that were primarily at that area.
Okay, well, there the doors open on the Cadillac when you arrived?
Yes.
Do you know how the doors got open?
No, I don't. I know the trunk was open. There was a right rear door open, but what occurred before I arrived, I don't know.
Okay. You stated that you took photographs of the Cadillac.
Yes.
Okay. You stated that you took fingerprints on the Cadillac.
Yes.
Okay. Did you find who the fingerprint belonged to that you retrieved on the Cadillac?
No, I specifically and personally, I did not. Those were turned over for later examination.
Okay. What did you find? Did you look inside the Cadillac when you got on the scene? Did you just look and see what was in it?
Yes, sir. I think we did probably look in through the windows to see if anything was obvious
Okay.
and open view.
Okay, I see you say you found a shell casing in that Cadillac.
Later that night, yes.
Okay. But when you looked at that Cadillac, when you first got on the scene, could you see that shell casing in plain view?
No, we didn't see the shell casing until we started the search warrant search of the car at the Athens office.
Okay. You also said that you found a gun in there.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have a gun today? Did they present the evidence of their gun? I don't
Not
know.
presented at this point in time, Your Honor, this is not the individual who collected that item.
I don't recall it.
I don't either, but I know they showed it on the screen if I'm not mistaken. Some pictures. You took some pictures of a gun in that Cadillac, right?
Yes.
So you the one that found the Cadillac. I mean, how did you come to take pictures of a gun in that Cadillac?
I'm the one that photographed the gun. I don't recall if I actually first saw it or if Agent Lavender saw it. Agent Lavender's the one that collected the gun, and he may have just simply said, there's a gun, and I photographed it.
Okay. Was the gun in plain view in that Cadillac when you first arrived on the scene?
No, sir.
So you didn't see it, you just couldn't see the gun?
I didn't notice a gun until we did the search later that night.
Okay. And again, you don't know who opened them doors.
Well, there was only one door open, and as I testified to, no, I don't know what happened before I got there.
Do you know how that gun got there in that car?
No,
Did you see who put that gun in that car?
no.
You stated that you found some clothing in that Cadillac.
Yes.
Did you find any ski masks in that Cadillac?
I don't believe there were ski masks. I think that the two that we found were knitted caps.
So them just regular caps that you put on your head?
I believe so,
Did
yes.
they had eyes, nose cut out of them like a real ski mask?
I don't think that they did. I don't recall that.
Okay. Did you check them stocking caps for hair DNA?
I personally did not.
But was it took? Did anybody take hair DNA out of them caps that you retrieved out of the Cadillac?
I'm aware that they were processed in our crime lab, yes, but it wasn't something I did.
You stated that, okay, when you found that shell case in that Cadillac, could you tell us, how did you come to find the shell case in that Cadillac?
Yes, sir. Actually, Agent Lavender was on the passenger side of the car. I was on the driver's side of the car, and he notified me when he saw it. He said that there's a shell casing. When he notified me that there was a shell casing, now we were 3 feet away from each other. I, with the camera, went over there and I took photographs of where the shell casing was and the shell casing itself, and then I removed the shell casing and collected it as evidence.
When you first saw that shell case specifically, tell us specifically where it was located at.
It was located in between the actual, there's an open area between the center of the back seat and the right rear seat. And down in that open area is the seatbelt mechanism, is where the seatbelt goes. That cartridge casing was down in that area, and it appeared to be between the seat itself and the seatbelt. And that's where it was collected from.
So just say, if you couldn't, it wasn't in plain view is what you tell me.
Yes, I didn't see it on a casual walk around of the car. It was only when we were inside the passenger compartment that it was seen.
Okay. So, let's say if you had normally open the door, let's say if anybody got to open the door in that Cadillac, anybody, could you have saw that shell casing just by normally opening the door and looking in that back seat?
I don't know what anybody else could have seen. I can say that I didn't see it in that kind of an instance. I didn't see it until I was actually over it looking down at it.
Okay, so when you first started taking pictures, you didn't notice it until you had to look down and see to find the what you told me.
Yes, until we were actually inside the passenger compartment and looking down in that area, that's when it was seen and photographed in place.
So it was kind of hid down in there, that's what you telling us?
I wouldn't necessarily say hid, other than it had fallen down or had found its way down into that area, and that's where it was.
If you don't use the word hid down in there, what terminology would you use as far as describing what that bullet casing was?
Just like I said, it found its way into that. I don't know how. I don't know if someone hit it. I don't know if it fell down there while it was being fired. There's several different possibilities on how a cartridge casing finds its way to where it's eventually found.
But you are certain that it wasn't in plain view, you certain of that?
Yes, we didn't see it through a casual view of the vehicle.
Okay. When you stated that you took pictures of the Cadillac, correct?
Yes.
Did you see bullet hole in that passenger doors of that Cadillac front passenger door? Did you ever see a bullet hole in that Cadillac door?
Not that I've noticed, no.
But you processed that Cadillac for fingerprints, is that right?
Yes.
So if it was a hole in that Cadillac door, you should have ran across and you processed it, right?
Probably would have noticed that, yes.
Well, did you do a written report on this case?
Yes.
Did you have to report with you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, did you put anything in your written report about seeing a bullet hole on the right front door beside that Cadillac?
Can you just a second to review my report?
Yes, sir. Take your time.
Yes, sir, I don't have it noted in any report, and I don't recall it.
You stated that, you stated that you processed your John Brooks Chevy Caprice on March 22nd, 2011.
Yes.
You stated that you processed this car for fingerprints.
Yes.
You also said you took photographs of Mr. Brooks' car.
Yes.
Correct? Did you find any fingerprints on the Don Brooks who would have connected you to the people who was driving this car that day?
I retrieved several fingerprints from the vehicle, and those were turned over. What was found and wasn't found from those, I don't know. I don't have
Okay.
that.
So, would you agree it would be very important? Well, let me rephrase it. Do you think it'll be important? I'm sorry, let me get it right. Do you think the fingerprints on the Don Brooks car would be important as to finding the person who was driving this car?
Yes.
That would be very important, you think?
Yes, it would be something we'd want to know.
But y'all did take fingerprints off the car.
Yes.
After this date, have they told you that who those fingerprints came back to?
No, I don't know.
Have y'all made any arrests on anyone allegedly supposed to have been driving to Don Brooks car as of today?
I have no idea. My involvement in this case was 4 days, and I haven't been involved in it since, so I don't know anything about any additional arrests.
Okay. You stated that you found some items in Mr. Brooks' car.
Yes.
Okay. Did you document those items? Did y'all document those items that you found in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you tell us what you documented?
Yes, sir. I testified to this a little earlier. It was a T-shirt. There was a T-shirt. There was a set of keys. There was a remote, keyless entry remote with 3 GM keys and an Access Plus key that was on the front seat. There was a white T-shirt in the rear floorboard, and those items were collected.
Did you put any, I'm sorry, you stated it's very important to do a change of custody report on the case.
Yes.
Well, could you tell us what did y'all do to change the custody on property sheet on Jadon Brooks' car?
Yes.
Did y'all put anything on that change of custody sheet by finding the gun holster in this car?
No, sir. That's in the photographs.
Why didn't you put it on the change of custody sheet if it was in there?
We didn't collect it as evidence.
Why wouldn't you collect a gun holster as evidence?
Because there was no gun in the holster. There was no ammunition in the holster. It was an empty holster. It was photographed, so it was documented. So we knew that it was present, but I'm not aware of any information that would have been gleaned from collecting that holster.
Okay. I noticed that you photoed the T-shirt, the keys, and all that, and you put it on their property sheet, but you didn't put that gun holster on their property sheet.
Right.
Why is that?
That's
been asked and answered.
But you would agree there is no gun holster on their property sheet, isn't that right?
because it was not collected. Yes, sir.
Okay. But it was photographed though.
Yes.
I just got kind of lost on that because I see y'all collected certain items and y'all presented to the jury. And you photographed those items and you made sure they would be in court today. And I see you photograph that gun motion, but I know y'all didn't bring that gun motion to show it to the jury. Can you tell them why y'all didn't do that?
Sir, first of all, I don't think that the keys, the T-shirt, or anything else from the Caprice was introduced in court today. However, the photograph displaying where the holster was in the car was brought to court, and I've testified to it. It was present. There's no denying that it was there, but it wasn't collected as evidence.
Okay. You made sure you collected that stuff in the Cadillac as evidence did.
Yes.
But you didn't collect that gun motion and that evidence in the Don Brook car, did you?
As far as I know, no. We didn't collect the gun holster. We photographed it.
What was the difference between the evidence in that Cadillac and the evidence in Don Brook car? Tell us what the difference was.
Well, one is Jadon Brooks' car is a victim's car.
So
That's one issue. We're searching that car from an aspect of this is a victim's car. What evidence in this car may lead us to who's responsible for him being a victim. The evidence in the Cadillac is the suspect's car. It's your car. And that evidence in that car is specifically, from our point of view, is to show that Jadon Brooks may have been in that car. There's evidence of the kidnapping in that car. There may be other evidence in that car relating to the kidnapping of Jadon Brooks. And that was our primary purpose for searching the Cadillac. So the two different vehicles have two completely different reasons for searching them. One is a suspect vehicle. One is a victim's vehicle.
Well, how did you know that Jadon Brooks was a victim? Did you see what happened? Was you there when this happened to Jadon Brooks? Did you see that with your own eyes?
I was not present. I don't know which question you want me to answer.
Okay. But
That is argumentative.
Okay.
That's another question.
So the term victim, that's just a term that y'all use.
Yes.
So you really have no idea that Jadon Brooks was a real victim or not, do you?
He was a reported victim.
But reported. Okay, I just couldn't know. So are you telling us that because Jadon Brooks was reported as a victim, that caused you not to thoroughly investigate all aspects of this case?
Object to form the question, Your Honor.
Because Jadon Brooks was considered a victim, that caused you not to retrieve that gun motion evidence?
Yes, sir, that was probably part of it.
Okay. Now, don't you think that gun holster would indicate that Jadon Brooks had a gun in his car?
Yes, sir. We didn't hide that. Not in his car. I know that there wasn't a gun in his car. Not at that time.
I think you misunderstood, sir. I said, did it indicate, would that gun holster indicate that it was a gun in Jadon Brooks' car?
No. It indicates that there's a gun holster in the car. We searched the car. There was no gun in the car.
I understand. Why would somebody, a gun holster for a gun, isn't that right?
Yes.
So that would indicate that the gun was in that car?
No, sir.
Correct?
No, sir. It is what it is. It indicates to me that there was a holster in the car. The holster was photographed, so it was documented. Whether there was a gun in the car at any time, I have no way of knowing. All I know is that there was a holster in the car.
And you know you didn't put it on that property sheet too, isn't that correct?
I did not collect it as evidence, so yes.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce, is it supposed to be left?
You will need a
Yes, sir.
show them to the prosecutor and what foundation.
Your Honor, first of all, I just want to clarify for the record, these are numbered as exhibits 4 through 11, but I would just ask the record to reflect that they're defendants 4 through 11, and then obviously government nursery proceeding. And I was not considered to do.
they marked within the 4-foot line?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the board, I apologize. And by saying proceed, what I mean to indicate is that that's not clear, I apologize. We're not agreeing to be admitted, I just think it's prohibited to proceed with that.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize what you see in the finish? Is this supposed to be living?
If you give me a minute to look at my proof sheet, I don't recall 10 or 11. Give me just a second to review mine. Yes, sir. I don't recall what you have marked as 10 or 11. Those aren't photographs that were taken by my camera. I don't recall that.
Yeah, you are right about 10 and 11. I know it wasn't, but you are right about that 10 and 11. He is right about that 10 and 11. 10 and 11.
So, are you saying you did take 4 through 9?
Yes, sir.
You have that question?
Is it fair? I mean, it's 4 through 9 is it that you took?
Yes.
You recognize, okay.
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate presentation of what you saw that day?
Yes.
I turn it into evidence, exhibit 4 through 9, you know?
No objection on 4 through 9, Your Honor.
4 through 9 are admitted.
You know, I'd like to load them up on the thing if I did ask questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is that the backseat of that Cadillac? Do you recognize that as the backseat of the Cadillac?
Yes, sir. That's consistent with that. It appears to be a copy of my photograph.
Can you see that shell casing in that picture?
No.
Your Honor, we would just ask, in Mr. presentation, but could he please ask, or conclude when he asks the question, which number it is that he's showing to Agent Foster?
Okay.
Those done by the exhibit.
This is exhibit 5, sir. The finish is exhibit 5, sir. What is that shell casing that you found when you searched the car?
Yes.
When you agree that shell casing is down in between that seat,
Yes.
do that appear to be a hidden view in that picture?
I would object to the form of that question, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Also, I believe this is, all those questions have been asked and answered.
What?
If you want to ask them,
I'm asking what pertains to
there's
this.
only one shell casing so far, is that correct?
Yes, but we haven't showed the picture. I have the right to ask my own question. Just because they ask a question, that don't mean I can't. So what I'm saying is, it's my right to ask these questions. I'm on cross-examination, they was on direct.
It's the same question, though. But ask another question, please.
Give all respect, Judge. I get to ask my own question, brother. One day ask the same question now.
You've already asked the question.
But I just put it, I'm asking pertaining to this picture. I just put these pictures up.
Just ask another question.
Okay. How far would that shell case down in between that seat we found?
We didn't measure it, but it appears that it's about an inch to an inch and a half down into that little cavity.
But we certainly can't see it plain view.
I couldn't see it from my perspective in plain view.
Okay. The shell case laid on the, is that shell case on that seat in the picture?
Yes.
I'm sorry, defendant exhibit 6. Is that shell case on the seat in this picture?
Yes.
Was it on the seat when you first served that Cadillac?
No.
Who put that shell case in there?
I believe I did.
But it wasn't found there.
Correct. It's found down in the seat, in the cavity between the seats.
This is defendant exhibit 7. And this is a daylight. Let me see if I turn it. You see that, sir?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is a daylight picture of the backseat of that Cadillac. You agree?
Yes.
Can you see that shell case from there?
No, sir.
This is defendant exhibit 8. Is that gunboat she found in Shadon Brook car?
Yes.
This is defendant exhibit 9. Did y'all show that? Okay, that is defendant exhibit 9. Is that gunboat she found in Shadon Brook car?
Yes.
What size gunboat should it be?
I don't know. I don't have that noted.
Did they have this particular picture here and the picture that the state asked you to look at?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
Sir, I'm a witness. It's not up to me what photographs are shown.
Okay, but you did take a picture that gunboat did.
Yes, that's the photograph that I took.
Looked like a big gun to go in that gunboat gun.
I don't know what size gun would fit. Those nylon holsters can accept a variety of sizes of guns, but since there was no gun in the vehicle, I don't know what size gun was used in that holster.
But it was a gun holster in other words.
Yes.
And that's the John Brook car yesterday.
Yes.
No more questions.
Regret?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, will you excuse?
We would ask that you remain under subpoena as you had involvement in other aspects of the case for purposes of today.
All right, shut down.
Thank you.
That will conclude the presentation of evidence today. So I'll let you step back in the jury room, gather up your things, and then knock on the door when you're ready. There is one, I've got one note here, but I'm not sure. Mr. Laird? I think this means you want to make a phone call. Is that right? They're going to arrange that. We're gonna come back, as I said, we'll be here tomorrow. Y'all have any strong feelings about 8:30 or 9? Raise your hand for 8:30. Raise your hand. I'll do it. We'll start back at 8:30 in the morning. Thank you. Just put that back there, you want to take mine? Yes.
I turned to last night.
I don't know that I've seen that.
I did too. There was
Oh, I've already signed one.
I did too.
I've signed several.
Okay.
That, yes, I dealt with those signed authorizing that. So they're going to try to arrange that.